Business Focus, brought to you by KCB. KCB, making the difference.
It's another hour where we get to interact and support entrepreneurship across the East African region through seeking to find practical solutions to problems affecting entrepreneurs and by discovering unique business models that could create thousands of jobs for youth. Ahead on this week's show, we seek to find out how the choice of a brand name can influence the success or failure of any new small or medium-scale enterprise. We spend time with an SME in the dairy sector who has developed a new brand of yogurt milk. And we take you to Rhondda, where an SME has initiated an institution to upscale skills of youth in the service and tourism sector. We welcome your feedback on our email address bf@standardmedia.co.ke or SMS number 8041. Let's start off the show with me, Malaa Kivila. In today's show, we are focusing on branding and in particular naming. So we are joined by Seraphine Riligiro Kamara, a branding expert who will tell us some of the mistakes that we do when it comes to naming our companies, our new products and services. Welcome to the show, Seraphine.
Thank you, Malaa.
Okay, so kindly tell us, what is naming and what impact does it have to any business?
Malaa, naming is giving your business or product or service an identity that people, the customers you want to deal with, will resonate with. You want to make it strong, the same way you'd make a strong foundation stone when building a house, for example. If it is strong, as a strong name, a strong brand, will create a strong business for you.
And are there any categories when it comes to naming?
I'll tell you a short story. When starting my business over 10 years ago, I used my name and my late mother's name, coined them backwards and came up with a name that most people could not pronounce. It was good for me. It was something I felt very, very connected to. However, I didn't remember that a name of a business or a product is supposed to be addressing the target market. And you want to use a name that people can pronounce easily. You want to use a name that people will resonate with. You don't want to use a name that people rolls off easily from people's tongues.
So with that in mind, how important is naming to any new business, product or service?
It could make or break your business, Malaa. If people cannot pronounce your name, it means they will not speak about it. It means they will not refer your business to their contacts. And you want to have customers who give you not just repeat business, but refer your business to other customers as well. That's how your business grows. You know, word of mouth is one of the most powerful ways of growing your business. So if you want to start a business, you want to create a new product or a service, you want to give it a name that all your customers will speak about very, very easily. They will remember it.
When any person starts a new business, they get so excited in choosing a name to accompany the new business. So what are the common mistakes that people do when it comes to naming the businesses or products?
Before going into a room to talk about the name of a company or a product that you're developing, you want to involve the people who will give you objective opinions of what a name should mean to your customers. You want to have people who are knowledgeable in the area. It's great to inform your relatives and friends. They're wonderful people. However, you want to work with people who have knowledge in the area of the business line that you want to start. Now, there's something I call a broken suit. You take an adjective and put it together with a noun and create a company name. Qualifit, for example. Qualifit Tire Center. If you're the only person in that area, fantastic, use that. However, you want to think about something creative, something that makes you stand out, all right? Now, you want to have the people that you want to address looking at your business and realizing that you don't just have something generic, you have something special towards your business, something special that should make them come to your business. You also want to think about, you want to avoid giving your business a name that is obscure. Polycentrics, for example. It needs to be a business name that is not difficult for people to decipher what you mean. If they cannot decipher it, they will simply ignore it and go to the next person who they can easily understand. Now, there's geography. A lot of people use geography. Kenyan drapers, Nairobi bottlers, for example. It's wonderful if you're the only person in that line of business. However, if you're not, you want to be creative. And as you go by, you think about names like General Motors, General Electric. These are large companies, large, very successful companies that started in places where, during the times when there are not many motor vehicle companies starting at that time, not many electrical companies at that time. So it was easy for them to use those names. However, over time you realize that even those companies have moved on from General Motors to GM, from General Electric to GE, to make it easier for other people to differentiate them from the general people who are in the motor business or in the electrical industry business.
So finally, what factors should I, as a business person, new in the business or has a new product to launch in the market, what factors should I consider when it comes to choosing the appropriate name for my product, my service or company?
You want a name that tells a story about what your business is, a story about what your values are as a business. There is naming, a business name, that can be creative. It may not be something that immediately identifies the business, but then that's when you have a strap line that goes under the name or next to the name or above the name, depending on how you want to brand your business. So it needs to be something that tells a story of your business and your values as a company, okay, or a product. Then you want to think about a name that is succinct. The spelling of that name needs to be a spelling that comes out easily for me. People use a lot of what they call creative names. For example, replacing the Q with a C or vice versa, replacing PH with an F or vice versa. These kind of creative naming devices end up having you very difficult to find on the net, for example. If the spelling of your company name or your product is not something that I will quickly remember and use to search for you on the net, then it makes it difficult to do business with you. And it could make the difference between doing business with you or the next company that makes it very easy for me to pronounce the names. Then while naming, you need to think about the logos that you will use, because those make me, as a customer, easily identify with the product or the brand that you're building. Now, those logos also need to be in colors that resonate with me as a customer. If they do not, for example, if I started a men's wear shop, for example, and I have a male sounding name, but have it in pink, the name may sound Kenyan Men Outfitters, but it's all in pink. It doesn't help you resonate with your customers, because a man is not going to walk into a pink shop, not very comfortably anyway. So you want to think about the name, how succinct it is for me to remember, and the colors that draw me to you as a person. You want to use, especially if you're in a service industry, you want to use warm colors that go with the name that you have chosen, and the stripe line to describe the business that you're in. If you choose a name or coin a name that is catchy, memorable, you need to work with a strap line that then describes the business, because the name does not necessarily have to describe the business. If I cannot find you on the net, it's difficult for me to do business with you, much less refer you to my contacts. You want business from me as a customer, and you want business from my contacts as well.
Thank you so much, Seraphine, for your insight.
Thank you, Malaa, for having me.
That has been Seraphine Ruligirwa Kamara, an expert in branding. Now, I'm sure you know what factors to consider when it comes to naming or choosing a name for your product, your business, or a service that you want to start. Keep it business focused. We're now taking a short commercial break, but when we return, we tell you the story of a dairy farmer who is making immense benefits from yogurt production. Stay with us.
Growth of the Kenyan dairy sector has led to stiff competition among the industry players, with established players having a competitive edge over new players in the market. This has led to low returns by the new players, who mostly sell their milk to the established players through brokers. However, this trend seems to be coming to an end as the new players continue to adopt innovative ways of doing business. The recent times have seen most small dairy farmers collaborating to form dairy cooperatives or adding value to the raw milk so as to make better returns. Today, we spend time with such a dairy farmer at Karuri town in Kiambu, East Kenya, who has developed a new approach to the dairy business.
Today we have like 24 animals. The target of at least milking at least 15 per day.
With 24 dairy cows and daily production of 200 liters of milk under the family business module, Leonard Kigathi has opted to add value to the milk so as to double the income margins.
Value addition was mainly because of the difficulties of marketing raw milk, because you'd have to depend on brokers who would come and buy the milk. Other days they would not come when the milk, when the prices are very fluctuating. So you could not basically be able to manage the business well. So we thought it's better off that we move into value addition so that we try and stabilize our income.
He has done this by initiating a plant to produce various flavors of yogurt under the brand Gwango Dairy Products.
Manufacturing of yogurt is very, very simple. You need very few equipments. You just need to have very basic equipment, as easy as a gas cooker and a big sufuria. And then of course there's a little equipment that you must buy, like thermometers, and of course have the know-how before you then graduate to buying the milk processing, the commercial milk processing machines, which we currently have there.
The name Gwango was borrowed from the river Gwango, which is found in the area.
Yogurt is basically made from raw milk. You pasteurize the milk. After you pasteurize the milk, there are then some process you go through where you add some color and sugar, and then you basically ferment it, and then you basically have yogurt.
The yogurt plant was initiated in 2006 at a cost of about 2 million Kenyan shillings. Production of yogurt has made their products have a longer shelf life and double the profit margins in comparison to selling of raw milk.
The good side about yogurt, it has at least 30 days shelf life if it is refrigerated. So it gives you advantage because you have a whole like 3 weeks for you to sell the milk to your customers. Half a liter of milk will cost you something in the region of 30 to 35 bob. Yogurt will cost you at least double that amount for the same quantity. So you're talking about 70, 80 shillings per half liter.
The plant has a capacity of producing up to 12,000 liters of yogurt daily. Apart from getting milk from their farm, Kigathi has also managed to source for milk suppliers from neighboring farms.
Before, they were like us in the original position where they would depend on brokers, because any day you'll be better off selling your raw milk to a processor than to a middleman who you don't know who the final consumer is. So basically, for them, it's a stable market. They are sure that their milk will be collected every morning.
This has boosted yogurt production from 300 liters to over 600 liters per day.
We basically have 4 flavors. We have strawberry, we have vanilla, passion, and pineapple.
Gwango yogurt has been slowly but surely gaining popularity in Kiambu due to consistency in quality and availability in various brands at competitive pricing in the local market.
Been experiencing something like between a 10 and 15% growth year to year.
The company is on a steady growth path and currently makes a monthly profit of about 2.5 million Kenya shillings.
You must ensure consistency, because for your everyday customer, he must be sure that the product produced today and produced tomorrow is standard. Customers don't want varying qualities. They want to be sure. They want to be sure when they're consuming their yogurt, when they're buying their yogurt, it's the quantity that they're used to. So basically, once you're able to assure them that you'll be consistent, then your customers will be loyal to you.
The company's major challenge has been the high cost of power and the power rationing. However, they have invested in a 5 kV diesel power generator to mitigate the problem.
We hope in the next couple of years we'll be able to go to the East African community.
Gwango Dairy Products Limited boasts of creating employment to more than 20 members of staff and introducing a new milk brand in the Kenyan market.
If you want to supply raw milk to us, what you need to do is just need to contact us. Then the next thing we shall do after you contact us, we shall give you a specific date where we shall visit your farm and give you the parameters that you must be able to meet before we sign any contract to be receiving milk from you.
They are working towards doubling their production capacity by getting more milk suppliers, expanding their yogurt production plant, and expanding their market beyond the border to other East African states.
In the regional markets, we take it to Rwanda, where an SME has taken advantage of the existing gap in the service industry. He has initiated an institution that is offering capacity training in the service and tourism sector.
Rwanda covers an area of 26,338 square kilometers and has a population of about 12 million people, with about 80% of the population practicing subsistence farming. The country's Trade Policy and Strategies 2006 blueprint indicates that Rwanda is committed to reduce the percentage of the population relying on subsistence farming and increase capacity in the service industry.
If you look at the government development blueprint, the government of Rwanda blueprint, there's a focus to reduce overdependence on agriculture to services and industries. And when you talk about services, you're talking about banks, you're talking about insurance, you're talking about hotels, or rather you're talking about tourism. So since the government has focused on services, we know that the strategies that have been put in place by the government to support the service industry are very high. And in that case, we know if you invest in a service industry in Rwanda, you cannot go wrong, because there will be a lot of incentives that the government has provided to promote the service industries.
The Rwandan government's move to switch the country's entire education system from French to English in 2009 is one of the major steps the country has taken to attract foreign investment, increase trade and movement of labor with other East African states whose common language is English. However, this has come with numerous challenges which have presented business opportunities to entrepreneurs in the country.
In 2007, RTUC conducted a market research which revealed that there is a lot of tourism potential in the country, but the level of customer care is still weak because of lack of qualified and competent people in the area of hospitality and tourism.
One of the institutions that has taken advantage of the existing skills gap is the Rhondda Tourism University College, established in 2006 and accredited in 2008 to offer degree programs.
We have more than 5,000 gaps to be filled this year if we don't take into consideration the development that the country is enjoying in terms of hospitality development. So the gap is big, but we have taken serious measures by providing at least each year 400 graduates who are capable to offer good services to the expectations of customers.
The institution decided to fill the gap by offering courses in English, IT, tourism, among many.
We have a bachelor's degree in hotel and restaurant management, a bachelor's degree in travel and tourism management, a bachelor's degree in business information technology, as well as a professional diploma in airline courses such as airport operation, air cargo handling, and air cabin crew.
Rwanda Tourism University College, located at Inindi House, Kigali, has more than 3,000 students in the Kigali branch, while the second branch has 728 students.
The English is a key vehicle to the success of the graduates from this university. Since the time we started, the English has been a key. It is a medium language of instruction, because we are talking to when you graduate, those people in those areas, they need to talk to international people, to tourists coming from worldwide. So English is very key for us. They are studying English from the first year up to the fourth year.
Offering degree programs in English and hospitality sectors has presented job opportunities for teaching staff from the region, Kenya being a bigger beneficiary.
We were obliged to import actually the brains from the East African community, mainly from Kenya, because apart from those specific areas of study, but also we wanted to harness the level of English for our students, because Rwanda, having been a Francophone country, students wanted really to get into full environment of English.
The institution has had many achievements and prides itself for its contribution towards empowering Rwanda through producing well-trained graduates to fill the existing skill gap.
Today we have like 92 lecturers, and among them 42% are Kenyans. But we have also some people from Uganda, some people from Tanzania, some people from India. So it is a diversity of people in this university.
Rwanda Tourism University College has had a steady growth since initiation, with an increase in annual revenue from an equivalent of 29 million to 200 million Kenya shillings.
Last year, Rwanda Development Board, RDB, has awarded RTUC as the best small and medium enterprise in terms of developing the tourism sector. So we were awarded. So this is a great achievement.
The institution has acquired land and is in the process of building a bigger establishment, which will be their main campus.
We have a 5-year strategic plan, and this is a reference that we are following on a daily basis. And this has a lot of milestones to achieve in terms of growth, in terms of revenue, in terms of number, in terms of academic. We started with 11 staff, but now we are talking about 123. So it is really, we are doing a great job in terms of development.
They attribute their success to the workforce they have from the East African states.
As we come to a close of this week's show, let's continue with this conversation on our Facebook page and Twitter handle displayed on your screen. You can also write to us on our email address bf@standardmedia.co.ke or SMS number 8041. From myself, Malaa Kivila, and the entire KTN team, thank you for watching. Have a blessed night and enjoy your festive season.
Business Focus, brought to you by KCB. KCB, making the difference.